Hey everyone! Today we're going to make a very special craft that's been very popular in day camp the past couple of years when we did that with the kids over there, and I'm going to show you how to make them. We're going to make bath salts and bath bombs. Now you might ask, what are those things good for? So for example, bath salts are really good for your skin when you use them sort of like as soap, or maybe after you use soap, whether you're taking a bath or you're taking a shower. You can just rub them on your skin and your skin is going to feel very smooth and very nice afterwards. It does something what we call exfoliating, which means it gets rid of your dead skin cells, and it also makes your skin feel really good smelling and smooth. Depending on what ingredients we're using, they have also other various positive effects. Now, bath bombs are a little bit different. We're not rubbing those on our skin, although we could if we wanted to, but that's not where we are making them. What they do is when you put them in water, either in the shower or in your bath water, they start fizzing, and it's just really fun to watch. It's a really cool effect that it does. But also because we're using essential oils in it, as it starts melting, those are released into the air and they smell really good. They lift your mood, and if you use it in the bath water, they also do some good stuff to your skin as well. So we're going to make those two things today. I'm going to show you the recipe I've been using, and I've tried and I've tested and I like it. But there are lots of other recipes you can find online, and you can also tailor it to your liking. Now, it's really important that if you have a sensitive skin, or if you make this as a gift, because they make really good gifts, but if you make it as a gift for someone who has a sensitive skin, you might want to check with them before you give such a gift, because as we're going to be using essential oils in these products, some people's skin just don't like them. They get a little bit of an itch or a rash, so you just want to make sure that whoever is going to receive it and use it, they can handle it, and so they can enjoy this and it won't be a headache for them. So first of all, we are going to start off with the bath salts. These are the ones that you can rub on your skin, and it feels really good and it smells really good. And we are going to use 4 ingredients for this. We are going to use Epsom salt. When I bought it, it came in this really large big bag. And we are going to use baking soda, we're going to use olive oil, and we're going to use essential oils. What the Epsom salt does is it soothes tired muscles, and it also reduces inflammation in one's muscles. The reason why we put baking soda in it is because it can soothe irritated skin. So again, that's a really good positive effect. We're using the olive oil because it helps with the texture, because you don't want to put a lot of the essential oil in, because that can just get too much. So we use a little bit of olive oil just to help the texture, and then of course we're going to use our essential oils to give it a good smell. Now, each essential oil has its own properties, something that they do to your skin or to your mood, because they really lift your mood. Like some of them, like lavender, they have a calming effect. You can use that in the evening before you go to bed. It really helps you just get really calm and just calm down after a stressful day. You can use other things that will make you really energized. You can use orange essential oil. That is going to make you just really happy, and it will really kind of hype you up for the day. So again, this is something that you can look into, and you can choose your own, and you can even do different combinations and just really enjoy whatever effects they have. So let's get started. You're going to need these 4 ingredients, a nice little bowl. You're going to need a few measuring spoons and measuring cups, and something to stir it together with. And at the end, you're going to need a little jar, depending on whether you're making it as a gift for someone and you just want to make a really small amount, you can use a tiny jar. Or if you're making it for yourself and you want to use it multiple times, you can put it in a bigger jar. And once you have everything ready, we can get started. We're going to measure out 1/3 cup of the Epsom salt. We're going to get 1 tablespoon of the baking soda. We're going to do a teaspoon of olive oil. And lastly, we're going to put in the essential oil. So I'm going to use lavender, and I'm going to put 8 drops in there. Now again, that depends on your taste, but you don't want to use too much, because If you use too much, it can irritate your senses, even in your nose, but also once you use it, you just don't want to overdo it. Once you have all the ingredients together, you just want to give it a good stir. Now what you want is like wet sand. That's the consistency we're looking for. As you can see, it is the consistency of wet sand. Some people like to make this a little bit more juicy, so they put more olive oil in it. My preference is to just keep it as it is right now. But this is, again, totally up to you. All right, now one more thing before we put it in jars. If you so choose, you can use food coloring in it to make it more fun. But then again, some people don't like these additional items because they might have a slight allergy to them, or they just like to go all completely natural with everything. You could find different food coloring that is more natural and derived from vegetables. I didn't have that at hand. I just have normal food coloring just to show you. I'm not going to put this in there, but if you were to use it, you can give it really cool different colors. You can even mix the different individual colors in the pack and just make it look more fun or more seasonal. If you want to make it for Christmas, you can make them red like peppermint and use peppermint oil in it. And then, it just adds another fun factor to it. Now we're going to put it in the jar. This is a smaller jar, and if your family like to put away jam or do other canning, I'm sure you have some of these at home. But they are very affordable even if you need to pick up a couple in the store. Especially if you give it as a gift, you want to make sure it's filled all the way so the person receiving it won't feel cheated. All right, I'm just going to put the lid on. But it doesn't end here because you want to make it look pretty. So you can create a cool little tag that you can tie with a ribbon on it, especially if you give it as a gift. You want to make sure that you list the ingredients so the person receiving it will know what's in there, so they will be able to decide whether it's good for their skin or not. I also have a ribbon here. There are some tag stickers, or you can cut yours out from thicker paper or cardstock. Create your own design. This is just a cute little tutu piece that you can just tie on the top and make it look really pretty. And this concludes the first part of this video in which we made bath salts. Alright, so the next thing we're going to make is those bath bombs. These are the ones that you're not going to rub on your skin, although you could, it wouldn't hurt. These are the ones that you're going to put in the bath water or the shower water in the bottom of the tub, and once they get wet, they're going to start fizzing. But not only that, they're going to also start releasing the essential oils that were entrapped in them, and it's going to fill the air. It will smell really good. It can help alleviate stress at the end of the day if you use lavender or some other calming ones, or it can help you get pumped for the day in the morning if you use orange essential oil or something else along those lines. So this is going to be a little bit more complex than the previous one, so you really need to pay attention. We're going to mix the dry ingredients separately and then the wet ingredients, and then we're going to slowly put the two together. So we're going to start off with a 1/4 cup of baking soda. Then we are going to use citric acid. This is the thing that's going to cause the reaction with the baking soda, and it's going to start fizzing once water gets on them. So we're going to need 2 tablespoons of this. I am going to use Epsom salt in this again. Some people like to just use cornstarch for the whole amount. I like to do about half and half between the two. So it's going to alter the texture of the bomb. If you just use cornstarch, it's going to be very, very smooth. If you use Epsom salt, it's going to be a little bit more crystally, and it will give it a cool texture. So it's totally up to you. I'm going to show you the way that you can use both. So we're going to need 1 tablespoon of this. And then we are also going to use 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Now, if this is what you're using for cooking, you don't want to use the same spoon going in all the different ingredients. I don't mind because I'm not using this for cooking, it's just for projects like this. You want to make sure that there are no big lumps in it. You want to make sure that everything is incorporated properly. All right, now that we're done with the dry ingredients, we're going to mix the wet ingredients together. I'm going to use a small glass for that. And we are going to need just a 1/4 teaspoon of water for that, which is usually your tiniest little spoon. We are also going to need a teaspoon of olive oil. And we're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon or 10 drops of essential oils. Now again, you can use just one kind of essential oil or you can mix a couple of different ones. Don't go too crazy. Some of our campers would put together every single kind that we had, and those don't come out as well. Usually if you want to use 2 or 3 maximum, those are the best ones. Now here comes a real tricky part. You have to incorporate this wet mixture in the dry, but you have to do it super slowly, because if you do it too fast, the citric acid and the baking soda will react with the water, and then it's just going to start fizzling. And once the fizzle is going on, then your bath bomb kind of dies. Okay, so I just do it little drip by drip. You have to be able to put these in molds, so it cannot stay this powdery, but also don't expect it to be like Play-Doh. It's not going to become a dough like that. Alright, so once you're done with that, you can test it really quick by pressing your fingers in. If it holds the shape of your fingers, then it's ready to be put in the mold. You can use little ice cream scoops, you can use cups like this if you want to make a nice big thing. You can use forms that were made specifically for bath bombs, or you can use silicone ice cube trays such as this one. It's a really cool shape. There are these little star looking things, but it's totally up to you, whatever design you would like to do. You want to make sure you fill the cavities really well. If you don't fill them and you don't pat them down really well, it's not going to be the right shape when you take it out of the mold. With the little ice cream scoop, you can immediately take it out of the mold. I like to use just a piece of cardstock or paper that's a little bit heavier, but at the same time it keeps it portable, so I can put it somewhere to dry. Voila! There's your little bath bomb. If you use the ice cube tray, because it's a little bit flimsy, you want to make sure it dries completely before you take it out of the mold. I even put it in the freezer for overnight, and then it held its shape perfectly. It's really nice. Now, if you want to give a little extra special something to it, before you put them in the mold, either in the ice cube tray or even in this, you can put some little flower petals in it, dry or fresh ones, and it will create a really nice design on top of the bumps, because obviously when you take them out, what was the bottom when you put it in, it's going to be on top, so it's going to have all the little design on top of it. Alright, so we're done with our little bath products. This is our bath salt. I dressed it up a little bit. You can go all out and make it super elegant and fancy and very, very pretty, or you can make it more farmhouse style, whatever your preference is. This is one of our bath bombs. I put a little bit of tutu on it as well with a little ribbon just to make it look pretty. This is an example of putting dried flower petals, or this is actually an entire piece of flower from a lavender plant. And if you remember, I put it in the bottom of the mold, so when you take it out, it's on top of the bath bomb and it just looks really pretty. If you take a closer look, this that came out of the silicone mold that I showed you earlier, in this recipe I used cornstarch instead of Epsom salt, so the texture is a lot smoother, whereas this one, which was half Epsom salt, half starch, this is a little bit more rough. Whatever you do, just make sure that whoever's going to be using these kind little gifts, their skin is not sensitive to these products, so they can enjoy these bath salts and bath bombs and it won't cause them any irritation. Now, if you guys are making your own creations, we would love to see them. You can share a picture of those, or you can tell us about your favorite combinations of essential oils. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you will have fun making your own and giving it as a gift or using it for yourself. Until next time, bye.